Right, guys, it's beautiful today. The sun's out in BG. It was like -5 last night, and this is where you get the nice sunny days on the and crispy mornings, and super crispy if it's -5. It's going to be like that for the next 3 or 4 days. Clear skies, beautiful, and so the snow is now going to be on the ground for another few days. But there's no snow forecast for about 5 days at least. Any more snow anyway. So it's beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful weather and like clear air, nice air, and all the roads are cleared now. But there are these, how I described in one video, when the snow melts during the day, because the temperatures you're getting up now in the day to like 7, 8. So you get these sheets of ice, especially where there's like spring water and stuff coming out of the banks, and the snow melts, and if the snow gets the sun on it, and it was a bit slippy out here this morning. So they're the hazards. But I just still try and limit my outings to the shop or whatever. Like I've been this morning and doubled up and got a load of provisions in for the next 3-4 days. So I don't have to go. I usually go down every 2 days, but only to the local shop. But like even then, if you don't have to go, don't go. But anyway, so I've had a couple of comments off the same person on the comments, and suggesting things for me and assuming things, right? So just to answer the questions which were to do with wouldn't van life be better? Now, I do a lot of road trips. If anyone's been watching this channel, that's one thing I do. It's about 6 or 7 road trips, so that's enough for me. And then we're going to Sicily next month. Well, as from tomorrow, it's this month, isn't it? January the 23rd, I think. We're going to Sicily on another road trip, right? So the 2 points, or 2 or 3 points, there was 2 comments from this guy, person. I don't know whether it's a guy or a gal. There is a difference, but like, so I'll just answer them, and it might answer them for someone else who's thinking about asking the questions. So I'll just answer it anyway. And one of them was like a little bit like, I would call it like a little bit personal, about like they said, what wouldn't you want van life rather than being stuck here on my own? And I'm thinking, I'm not stuck anywhere, and the first thing I want to be is on my own. So there's the answer to those 2 questions, and the reasons why are just like, that's how I'm wired up. I'm not stuck anywhere, because I've been all over Europe extensively, and all over the UK, every corner of the UK, either visiting or working or whatever. And for the second part, stuck on your own, I mean, I don't like to talk about that, and I don't really, but they're reading into it, probably because they've realised I'm on my own, so they want to know why. So I'll just touch on it, but I don't want to go too deep into it, because it's kind of, people don't understand why some people are wired up to be better off alone. They don't understand it, and they never will. And well, there's people who I could turn the tables and say, why do you crave to be with other people every minute of the day? And people do. And I know people who can't be alone for 5 minutes. They start going up the wall, start climbing the walls. And that's not me. I can be alone. Well, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a time. It doesn't bother me. And that's because of the way I'm wired up. Now, I didn't wire myself up. That's the way you are. Well, it doesn't mean you. Some people think you're weird, and that's fine. Think away. Carry on thinking. But like, other people understand because they're wired up the same. Like, but the thing is with like preppers and loners, shall we say, for want of a better word, which I wouldn't say is a loner. What are you? A company craver? People craver? Can't be a loner? What are you? And so they said, wouldn't it be more fun for van life? Well, I've watched a lot of van life stuff, including the king of van life as Bob, who's now bought a piece of land, and he's going to put a cabin on it, I think. But I think he'll keep that in the background because he wants to be. He makes a good living out of being the number one van lifer, Bob, I can't remember his second name. Father Christmas, Bob with the white beard. Anyway, so he makes a living out of it, and a good living, He's got a lot of followers and whatever. So, and he's putting roots down. He's putting, So even the king of van life, they don't last forever, and a lot of van lifers don't, and a lot of them fall out as well, especially couples. If you watch carefully behind the scenes, and a lot of them are grifters, especially the good-looking girls. They're grifters, and they don't hang about long, and they're obviously, it's all choreographed and all the rest of it, and the thumbnails and all that, with their arse hanging out and all the rest of it. It's obviously the grifters, and like, so van life. Right, let's consider the Balkans. Van life in the summer be impossible. Well, for me anyway. Unless you were running air conditioning, which costs money. In my house here, I live much cheaper than I would in a van. Much cheaper. My council tax, well, I've shared it before, is about 12 quid a year. And then after that, nothing. You're paying for electric, which you pay for in a van. And fuel and all the rest of it in a van. And people are eating out and eating junk and all the rest of it. I mean, big part of my life is cooking. So I need a decent kitchen. I don't want to be cooking on a one burner like thing hanging out of the back of a van. Or like in a camping situation. And I've lived in caravans, and I cope quite well actually because I'm good at like one pot dishes, like a slow cooker or pressure cooker or a combination. You can cook the meal in a pressure cooker and then just keep it warm in the slow cooker. And I did that quite a lot. Anyway, so living in a van, and then you watch these things and they're like, having a shit in a plastic bag and all that during the night. And dumping it in like a rubbish bin somewhere. Got wet wipes and all that. And I'm thinking, what's this going on through this person's mind who's commenting that van life would be better than this? Beautiful house, which costs nothing, basically nothing, 12 quid a year. And then after that, you eat it, you've got to eat, you've got to water. I've got wood for the wood burner. And you're sleeping in like Walmart car parks and all that. And the same, wouldn't it be more fun? What do you think? I mean, I'd rather be here now, like cooking my steak in about an hour. Steak, egg and chips, or like whatever. I've got some carrot and swede. Actually, I'm going to make some carrot and swede mash, hearty meals. So there's the answer. And with regard to being alone, that's my business. And how you're wired up, whether you're alone or not. Now, if you can't understand that, just leave it at that. Go and be with other people as much as you want, and I won't ask you why. Right? But in return, I don't want to be asked why. Because people can't understand other people, like preppers. They call them hoarders and all sorts of other things, because they don't understand how they're wired up and the way they think. And they think they're hoarding stuff and they're hoarding it away from them. That's how they think. That came out, didn't it, when everyone was locked up? The people panicking down the supermarket with the toilet rolls and all that. There's a news flash. They weren't the preppers. The preppers have already got them. The preppers have already got everything. So they're not bothering you while you're going and panicking down at the supermarket. As soon as like someone says toilet roll on the television and everyone's down there knocking lumps out of each other to get to the toilet rolls. We've already got them. And this is where people get a bit mixed up about people who think differently, So, and the other thing, van life, I go on tons of road trips, and I like being on the road a little bit, but not like all the time. Imagine that, Walmart, trying to go and use the 24-hour toilets and shitting in a bag and all that, caper, and all your drinking water's overheating. And the other thing is, in the winter, it's difficult, The only guy I can see who's doing very well with all that is Foresty Forest. And he does well. But even he said it's not all fun, you know what I mean? It's not, and he's got to be real careful about getting out of places and and where he sleeps. Be all right if you're a younger person, I couldn't be doing that. And people sleeping people living like cars, like Prius, Toyota Prius, things like that. Only just about fit in. And they say it's great, but like they disappear. They all disappear after a certain time. And even Bob, he's keeping it quiet, but he's putting down his roots, He's getting tired of being on the road. But so there's the answer. You go and try it, and don't ask me about it, because that's not what this channel is. If it was about van life or being alone, that's what I'd be talking about. But that's my business, and I know people don't understand it, and they can't get their head around it. Maybe that's why they're asking, and being as to address why you're stuck here. This is paradise where I live. If you're 55, 60, you want to be where you don't want to go anywhere else, ever, forevermore. And that's where I am. I'm in a place where I've been looking for the first 40 years or whatever, and where I'd want to be. And I really was, I had a look at Spain, Portugal, France, which is quite nice but expensive. I could live in certain parts of France if I could afford it, which you could, but I prefer it here anyway. And then I found Bulgaria, so that's the answer. to a few of the questions in these comments, and maybe the veiled comments, saying like, this guy's stuck there alone, and really it could be miserable, and he'd be better off in a van. I mean, you're having a laugh. I'm not shitting in a bucket. No way. No chance. And even when I was living in caravans and that, I made sure I got on caravan sites. You can't wild camp in the UK because the cops would be round like a flash, unless you teamed up with some gypsies and the cops don't go near them. They know better. And so if you're wild camping anywhere, they'll come and get you and move you on. So, and I think it's a bit easier in the USA. They have these uncontrolled areas, but they're in the middle of nowhere. Wild camping places, free actually. So I mean, you might want to do that as a 3 or 4 month challenge or something like that. Well, van life, where you just like squeezing into like a reclined chair in a car or like in the back of a van. I had a great big RV once, an American RV, and it was I could live in that easily, and I did. I lived in that for a couple of years, and it was fantastic, and that was the right size. It was 35 foot for travel. It was a work of art, late 70s, work of art. It was absolutely fantastic. And if there's something not regret selling, because I couldn't bring it here, because the winter would destroy you, and the summer, if you didn't have anywhere to put it in, which defeats the object of having an RV. If you could have somewhere to put it inside here. And I lived in a derelict factory once. They used to use it for airport parking in Liverpool, near the airport. And I did a deal with the guy who was an ex-boxer, and he had a few bob. I never met him, but like we hit it off. I somehow got his email, and I asked him could I stay there, and he said yeah, and I was there for a year and a half, I think, undercover. It was fantastic, absolutely brilliant, and they had electric free, because they had this electric, and it was actually just coming off from an old supply off another plot, and it was all free. And I didn't know that. I just plugged in because there was this taxi company there, and they were getting the electric, and I said, can I plug in? I'll give you some money. And they said, yeah, there's no money involved though, you just plug in right there. So that was it. And there was already drainage there from the factory, so we just plumbed it in as well to the drains, the sewage, and that was me. It was fantastic, But that was a massive RV. It was big, and it was really, really, comfortable and luxurious RV, and a lovely cooker, beautiful gas cooker. And so there's the answer to the person, and I'll answer about the van life. But like, as for being alone, don't ask. Don't really. I don't really want to be asked about it, because the channel isn't called Being Alone. This channel is sharing like Bulgarian, the Balkans, and not who you live with and your personal life. Really, I'll share a few things, but I don't want to be. Talking about that too much. That's my business. I'm not asking you about who you're living with, or like, why aren't you doing van life? To be blunt, and I don't want to be rude, But like, just watch the content, and if there's anything relevant, I'll answer it. Like they asked about the frozen pipes. Well, I think I've got that nailed down. We're not like cavemen. We've got that nailed down. I've got a heater in where the water comes into the house. In the form of like, you remember the heater bulbs you could get in your bathroom. I've got that kind of setup there, so the water doesn't freeze, right? And the roof caving in. Well, if you look at all around the Balkans, everyone's roof doesn't cave in, and I'll leave it at that. Just because there's a bit of snow, the snow is like it's a very even. It's a very even weight on the structures, and roofs do cave in, but when they've got a weak spot, or they're getting older, mine could cave in, and then it just fix it. That would be the answer to that. And so anyway, I'm sure, and I'm absolutely sure, this person is genuine, and maybe even genuinely interested or concerned, but like, you don't have to be. I'm trying to tell you that where I am is better than a lot of places I've been in the world. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. Not like that I'm struggling and I'm lonely and all the rest of it. If I was saying that, I'd tell you, this is terrible. I wish I was back in the UK. Like, that's not the channel. The channel is like, it's better here, and I'm already in paradise. I live in a chocolate box on a postcard. That's what it's like around here, and it's safe, and it's all the rest of it. Just watch the channel, and I'll try and tell you how all the reasons why you should be here, not why you shouldn't, and be living in a van in Walmart. Okay, cheers.